welcome to all. Okay, welcome to all the folks on Facebook, on Zoom, wherever you are, on your phones, whatever, and we're ready to go for this evening. Welcome to the Woodson Banneker Jacson-Bey Division 330 UNIA-ACL Rehabilitating Committee 2020 Freedom Friday Forum of August 8, 2025. And you know, folks, it is always a pleasure to join with like-minded folks to discuss matters of import to the African diaspora. And this evening, we are bringing the world to the center of what the UNIA-ACL RC 2020 is about by focusing on the course being taken to solidify African solidarity in this world that seems to be getting more erratic politically and economically with the kind of people we have in control in certain places. So we will do something here that we normally do, and that is begin with our rituals. The UNIA, as you know, we are Garveyites. This is Marcus Mosiah Garvey is the founding father of the UNIA-ACL, and so we proceed with, you know, his philosophy, and we are walking in his footsteps. So let me start with the UNIA official pledge to the flag. I commit my body, mind, and spirit to the protection, defense, and security of the red, black, and green. I dedicate my life to the redemption of Mother Africa and the liberation of her scattered black children. I accept for myself and my descendants the teachings of universal African nationalism, and I promise that our children will be instilled with the purpose and knowledge of themselves as African people, in order that the cause of our struggle will neither falter nor fail, until all black peoples are free and united through one God, one aim, one destiny. And of course, the preamble of the UNIA-ACL Constitution. You know, this is the one thing that we of the UNIA are happy to be dealing with, because of course, it was promulgated by our ancestors, the ancestors who were the founding fathers at the first UNIA Constitution in New York City in 1920. The preamble of the UNIA-ACL Constitution goes like this. The Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League is a social, friendly, humanitarian, charitable, educational, institutional, constructive, and expansive society, and is founded by persons desiring to the utmost to work for the general uplift of the Negro black peoples of the world. And the members pledge themselves to do all in their power to conserve the rights of their noble race and to respect the rights of all mankind, believing always in the brotherhood of man and the fatherhood of God. The motto of the organization is one God, one aim, one destiny. Therefore, let justice be done to all mankind, realizing that if the strong oppresses the weak, confusion and discontent will ever mark the path of man. But with love, faith, and charity towards all, the reign of peace and plenty will be heralded into the world, and the generations of man shall be called blessed. And of course, we believe in that. Or I should say, we sacredly follow that. But we also deal with other things. The philosophy and opinions of Marcus Garvey. And one of the things I want to read to you this evening as our readings is what is known as the Creed of African Fundamentalism. Africans' faith must be confidence in self, That's his creed. The time has come for the African to forget and cast behind him his hero worship and adoration of other races, and start out immediately to create and emulate heroes of his own. We must canonize our own saints, create our own martyrs, and relieve to positions of fame. And elevate to positions of fame and honor Black women and men who have made their distant contributions to our history. Sojourner Truth is worthy of the place of sainthood alongside Joan of Arc. Crispus Attucks and George William Gordon are entitled to the halo of martyrdom with no less glory than that of the martyrs of any race. Toussaint Louverture, brilliancy as a soldier, and the statement outshone that of a Cromwell, Napoleon, and Washington. Hence, he's entitled to the highest place as a hero among men. Africa has produced countless numbers of men and women in war and peace whose luster and bravery outshine that of any other people. Then why not see good and perfection in ourselves? We must inspire a literature and promulgate a doctrine of our own without any apologies to the powers that be. The right is ours and God's. Let contrary sentiment and cross opinions go to the winds. Opposition to race independence is the weapon of the enemy to defeat the hopes of an unfortunate people. We are entitled to our own opinions and not obligated to or bound by the opinion of others. So, Africans world over must practice one faith, that of confidence in themselves. So, that is part of our creed, African fundamentalism. And this should be up on the wall of all homes of African people, so that our children will be mindful of where or who they are. All right. Garveyism. Let me do another piece of reading here. And this one comes from the pen of Marcus Garvey Jr., the son of Marcus Garvey. Also, he was, I think, 3 times a President-General. And so, you know, his words.
Call me one of our sisters, and she's just one word about
Right now, he's an ancestor. But hey,
anybody, and
still has his brother alive today, but
she made me sick.
Has impressed us.
He's not.
That's an imprint.
Send it to it anyway. And
can y'all mute Dr. Jacob? Please, thank you.
Yes, he's been impressed as his words are imprinted in our doctrine. All right. Here's what he says. Universal African nationalism is a nexus of the basic prescriptions for African nationhood building. And Marcus Garvey, the great exponent of African nationalism, stressed relentlessly during his life the following basic concepts of universal African nationalism comprise the positive and dynamic agenda for African racial reconstruction and the building of African power in the world. He says the first concept is African identity. Know yourself. This implies that all persons of African ancestry and origins are essential and integral parts of the same Black African nation. For the Garveyite, the race and the nation are coterminous. A people who were separated from their ancestral homeland by the barbarous actions of the Aryan and Arab slave traders cannot be expected to accept the nationalities imposed upon them by their enslavers. The African in freedom has the right to determine his own nation, to delimit that nationality, and to seek the greater ingathering of African people from all sectors of the African diaspora. African identity is a matter of common ethnicity, ancestry, and origin. The second concept, that of African pride, as invoked by Marcus Garvey, means two things: appreciation and understanding of the achievements of our great race in the past, the African self-respect and self-worth in the present. The Black man had built many civilizations and cultures in the past. He could do so again. The Black man, created in the image and likeness of Almighty God, need not apologize for the color of his skin and the texture of his hair. All right? And there are a lot more. The other concept, the third concept, is that of African self-reliance. The work of African racial reconstruction will be accomplished by African organizations under African leadership with all-embracing African programs. African institutions designed for racial upliftment and liberation, whether cultural, economic, or political, must be controlled by the race, financed, directed, organized, and established by Africans with programs dedicated exclusively to the solution of Africa's problems at home and in the diaspora. Now, you know, to read the rest of it, the other concepts, I'm just giving you a taste of what this is here. But I must bring this last part to you, and that is the ideological concept of Marcus Garvey. He said, has evolved from the 1960s to the present time in the dialectics of Black liberation theology. Black liberation theology requires the active involvement of church and mosque in the instilling of racial identity, racial pride, racial self-reliance, and African unity in the minds of our people. This mental reshaping and mind liberation are necessary for Africans if we are to successfully deal with the general adversities by which we are confronted, and if we are to effectively oppose or I should say our natural and inherent enemies who have physically enslaved us in the past and who continues to hold us in physical and mental subservience at the present time. The African church and the African mosque must provide purpose and direction to the struggles of African people. So that's part of it. That's only part. But you see, I have to bring this to you so you will understand from whence we came. We,
Yes, sir.
the Universal Negro Improvement Association African Communities League, and us, the Rehabilitating Committee 2020. So, fellow Africans, those who are empathizing with us in our struggles, you should understand that we are not playing. We have not disappeared. We are still here. We are still in the struggle. And we have a leadership who are working very hard, assiduously, to bring our people to fruition when it comes to economic, development, and to prosperity, and to respect, to have it by the people of the rest of the world. If we don't, by our own confidence in relying on ourselves, if we don't get to that point where the rest of the world respects us for the power we have economically and socially as a people, respecting ourselves, then we will be doing the same thing over and over and over. And what do they say about people who do things over and over and getting the same results and trying to do something different? You're crazy. You can't keep doing this. It's time for us to get on the machine. That machine must be a powerful machine. And right now, I will recommend the UNIA-ACL Rehabilitating Committee 2020. And I'll turn this over
Yes.
to our
So
second
Baba,
in command.
Baba Mosi, you did an excellent job. You did an excellent job reminding our brothers and sisters on our mission. The
Mhm.
words that you shared from Garvey and Garvey Jr. was so important. Our President General will be joining us. I just communicated with him. He will be coming on. But I want to end up with something that, in terms of what you just shared, Baba Mosi, and then we can get right into it. This is also coming from African fundamentalism, but it's toward the end. And it's very important in terms of what Baba Mosi just shared. Let the sky and God be our limit and eternity our measurement. There is no height to which we cannot climb by using the active intelligence of our own minds. Mind creates, and as much as we desire in nature, we can have through the creation of our own minds. Being at the present the scientifically weaker race, we shall treat others only as they treat you. But in your homes and everywhere possible, you must teach the higher development of science to your children. And be sure to develop a race of scientists par excellence. For in science and spirituality lies our only hope to withstand the evil designs of modern materialism. Never forget your God. Remember, we live, work, and pray for the establishing of a great and binding racial hierarchy, the resounding of a racial empire whose only natural, spiritual, and political limit shall be God and Africa at home and abroad. I just thought that was appropriate because as you were sharing, Baba Mosi, I was reminded that man and woman can do what man and woman have done. And our children are crying and dying, and we still are too apathetic to understand the real reason why. And the President General just popped in perfectly on time. So before we go to him, I want to share some things real quickly in terms of what Baba Mosi shared of how important it is for us to recognize in 2025, those of us who were trained by those who were trained by Garvey are very much alive in rehabilitating the race. We are UNIA-ACL RC 2020, Rehabilitating Committee 2020, carrying out the legacy from the beginning of Amy Jocks Garvey, Amy Ashwood Garvey, Marcus Garvey, all the way through the president generals that followed Garvey, that were taught by Garvey, several who taught several of us. And we are happy to say now we have over 38 people who have followed that trend of thinking in what is considered as the Marcus Garvey Honor Society. So some of the work we've been doing for the last 4 years is going to carry us through the next 100 years because we got Garveyites on the loose and they ain't cubs no more. Some of us are lions. And we got who were cubs coming into lioness and lionhood. So it's very important to recognize that we're going to continue to work, Baba Mosi. So no matter what Urugu and everybody else do, we're going to do what we call to do. And coming up on the 67th International Convention of the UNIA-ACL RC 2020, which will be held here in the DMV. We want to shout out to everybody all over the world, to our nation state divisions in Africa, 6 of them, to our nation states in the UK, to our nation states in the Caribbean, particularly the Virgin Islands and other places all throughout Central America and throughout Northern America. Wherever Garveyites are, we have lost no love for any of them, even though some of them have demonstrated to practice more in the material world than in the spiritual world. Y'all figure that one out, because we know we are spiritual beings having a physical experience. And when our President General chimes in, he's going to also add to how important it is for us to build a legacy based on women or African queens. We know the kingdom will never come till queendom comes first. We know that all the kings and all the great warriors came out of a womb. And we also understand that we call Africa Mother Africa. And people tend to call the Most High Father. However, we say there's no gender on the Most High, but the reality is we go together. So we know African women rule. So we have African women in our leadership, and we go side by side. We don't believe in that separation. We believe in rebuilding the family, rebuilding the nation, and rebuilding our global African presence. Repair. So we're working to rehabilitate, and in rehabilitating, we must repair ourselves. We must continue to read, study our ancestors. We must emulate them. And then what we read earlier, Baba mostly read from African fundamentalism, and he also read from the Constitution. And we want to also stress that the ancestors rolled through us, inside of us. We know that we don't look for pie in the sky, God in the sky. We look for the kingdom of heaven within. The Most High reigns within us. We know that we were created in the image and likeness of the Most High. We know that African people are the first human beings, and all other human beings, for whatever reason or however, they end up coming from us. But we know that even some of our own kinfolk ain't really kinfolk, meaning they're not trying to build holistically like our ancestors in Garvey told us. So I'm gonna be strong, but I ain't gonna be long because we got a lot to talk about. But the convention coming up is something that I want to hone in on real quickly, because this 67th International Convention, we understand the plight of African people. And even though we have closed business sessions where we will be talking and working amongst ourselves to continue to build, so we can strive to become more economically, more spiritually, and more socially empowered, we have opened up a lot of our convention to the public. And one night, we're going to be doing some dancing through reggae music, but it's message music. And that message is very important because we ain't about slop hop. We ain't about dance hall. None of that stuff that takes you away from the spiritual and pushes you more into the material world. We're about raising up. So Proverbs Reggae Band will be with us on Friday night. On Saturday, we will be tributing to our traveling ambassador who is now traveling in the realm of the ancestral realm, none other than Brother Runoko Rashidi. And we're going to come back to this. I'm just giving you a base synopsis. And then, of course, we'll be celebrating the Right Excellent Honorable Marcus Musai Garvey's on his Earth Day on the 17th. And I'm going to get into detail with the lineup so that people out there understand that if you're not in the DMV, and you ain't got $15 to come jam with us, which is very, very little. Most people be paying $50 or $60 or $70 to go to concerts and leaving out with a whole lot of foolishness on their minds rather than how we gonna build and raise our consciousness. So $15 is a very minimum amount to pay to come out on Friday night. So those in the DMV, we want you to get your tickets from us, your advance tickets. But also, we wanna know we're working to stream through Zoom or YouTube and through Facebook so that people outside of the DMV who can't come be with us physically can register for a mere $10. And stay tuned into that. We're not going to tell you exactly how that's going to be done tonight, but it's soon come, and everybody that gets us an email and follows the trail of what we lay out there can pay $10 and be a part and partial of not only the fun of the reggae night, but the honoring of Runoko Rashidi and Marcus Garvey. I won't go into detail with all the people we're going to have because I want my President General to speak first. Baba Mosi is not only the president of the Woodson Banneker Jacson-Bey Division, and, I got to get on him because him and Congo created this Freedom Friday, but he also is the Minister of Information of the parent body. So he is also one of the leaders that he's talked about going to be on the program. He's already been on the program, and we have quite a few. And I hope Mama Tendai, she says she can't stay with us long. She might have left, but we got sisters. We have Dr. Chenzara Kahini, who's working all the time, who's the second assistant. We have Chief Fode, who's the third assistant president general on the continent, working with One Africa Commission. And they will be with us either in person or virtual at the convention. So without any further ado, I want to introduce you to our President General, who's serving his second term, my good brother, the Honorable Akili Malik Nkrumah.
Ashe, Ashe, Asante Sana. And what a powerful message that has been delivered. So powerful that words will not emulate what has been said. As we of the UNIA-ACL RC 2020 move forward to not just emulate the work of the Honorable Righteous Markham Sire Garvey and those men and women, but to complete the task that they have put before us. Watch the world see it on fire, but watch people of African descent, knowing that we shall rise above the flames and create that which our ancestors laid out for us to do. We will raise our African nation. We will raise our African consciousness, and we will follow the path of the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, Amy Jacques Garvey, Amy Ashwood Garvey, and those men and women that worked with him in the early stages and those who came after him. Charles L. James, Thomas W. Harvey, Sister Sadie, there were so many. And I won't belabor the time tonight because we will have opportunity to speak as we move. But I want all of the audience to understand that what the UNIA-ACL RC 2020 stands for is continuing the legacy, continuing the mission that was laid out in 1920. It was actually formulated in 1917 and before, because the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey got the mission prior to establishing the UNIA on this continent. He established it first at home, which is why he chose the words at home and abroad, because Africans and Africans, whether you are on the continent or not, you have a mission. If you think about it, every race works to support its home. People of African descent have had a misconception of what and where their home is. You think your home is where you are geographically, but what you must understand, your home is where your ancestry comes from. And all of us stem from the continent of Africa. Tonight, as we raise the plateau in the discussion, being prepared for our 67th convention, which is being put in place in, I think you called it Banneker City, but also the object is to make it so that we can change that capital by our presence. You see, historically, one time it was called Chocolate City, but at the same time, people didn't understand what that meant. That meant people of African descent was moving and grooving and making it happen. Harlem one time was the capital for African people. You see, understand, the capital for African people has never been a single place, but it has always been working toward a single place. Those at home and those abroad. I would never choose an island over a continent. And the continent that Marcus Garvey spoke of was Africa. We choose Africa. We choose the work that gets people of African descent free. You don't have to like me. That's all right. Respect the work. I don't have to like you, but respect the work. And so when you look at RC 2020 and you look about the world, look at the work. Our existence has not been long, but our history has been great. Each of us in leadership has history far beyond the time for RC 2020. But what we did with RC 2020 was say we must rehabilitate the race. We must ensure the continuation of the activities of the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey and those men and women that came before him and those men and women who came after him. And then for us too. For we are children of the lions who are now the lions raising the children that will move us forward. Asante Sana, my brother. Let us move on.
Thank you, PG.
Yeah.
You know, we're at the point where it's just a week away or a few days away, right? It's a few days away for our convention, and that you mentioned earlier. And in preparation for that convention, we have to gather our people. We have to make them be ready for what we plan to do in the future. What do you feel our people should be ready for when it comes to work time? What do you need us to be really striving for? The decisions being made at this convention. What should we be striving for? Or what do you have in mind for them to encourage them or engage them in doing for the future?
Is that a question for me?
Yes, sir. For you and anybody else who wants to answer,
I think we have
including Baba Kongo.
we have to
He's been
encourage
working out, you know.
yeah, we have to encourage and engage them to move the needle for African liberation forward. We have to encourage them to solidify who we are and what our purpose is. We can always say we want to be self-determined, but you have to put the work in to be self-determined. We can look at the world and see that it is going to hell in a handbasket because Europeans now are afraid of Black people and their liberation struggles, and they're doing every damn thing they can to stop it. Our youth on the continent is raising up. Leadership is required. Our youth in America are raising up. Leadership is required, but we have to understand what they're raising up for. They want to change the dichotomy of the world because we are always on the bottom rung, and yet everything we do makes everybody else better. We have to call people to order. We have to establish the entities that secures our future. We have to move in such a way as our ancestors did. Our ancestors moved to ensure that we could succeed, and succession will not be determined by a European definition of the word, but by the people of African descent and what it means to us.
No, and I will chime in right there too. The PG is absolutely correct. As we were taught, man and woman must know thyself, and it begins with your mind. If you free your mind, your behind will follow. But if you never free your mind, your behind will be stuck in the wells of unrighteous materialism. So what we want to do is help us rebuild our positive character with each other. We want to encourage our people not to fight with one another. We want to encourage our people to work together. We want to encourage people to cross lines. If you're in an organization, the way to organize and liberate is for your organization to organize with other organizations and build communities, organize locally, prepare for the global unification. And we like to say, once you know enough of yourself to know we have to have race first. What do we mean by race first? We're not anti-animals. We're not anti-nature. We're not anti any human beings, but we're pro-African human beings who were the first. So race first means coming together with one another, loving one another, learning how you can do something. As Runoko Rashidi used to always say, everybody can do something. So even if you don't join the UNIA and help us maintain the government, we're going to do that. We have enough, I said earlier, we have people who've been trained in the honor society, the Garvey Honor Society. So we're building institutions. Remember, we're not an organization per se. We're a government of organized or organizations and institutions. So we are working to interface with other positive brothers and sisters, no matter what institutions or organizations they may be in, if they understand the importance of unity without uniformity, we're not trying to control and guide everybody which way to go. We say spiritual because we know religion has been tainted and has been created a situation where we don't want no religious scruples or no political machinations to divide us. And we see too much of that going on. We see too much of the internet dividing us. We see too much of negative music dividing us. So we're talking about being whole and coming back to knowing yourself, no longer settling for projects. We want to get to know the source that built the pyramids. Our ancestors built pyramids. So we want to be able to rise up with our blacktricity so we can do that, Baba Mosi. And we want to provide a means economically. We ain't just talking about having a job, and we ain't just talking about having a business. We're talking about forming a collective, cooperative economic system that can fund the various different projects that can bring us closer to controlling our own food, clothing, and shelter and security. Those are very important things. In knowing yourself, you got to eat properly, or you got to at least eat, but I say eat properly. You got to have somewhere to live. You should be able to build your homes, not just rent, not just pay that crazy rent, but be able to build your home and live in your home. You got to use solar energy. You got to use ways to purify your water. You got to do those type of things. And then you got to have the proper social services for your people. People like to say socialism. We like to say build the social order, meaning serving yourself properly socially. People can call that socialism, but we're universal Pan-African nationalists, Garveyites. And we will work with our socialist brothers and sisters who understand race first. We ain't got time to try to help the other fellow right now because we got too much oppression coming to African people. That might come down the road once we control our own sovereign land, Africa, and control our resources. Then we can talk about how we can work with everybody else. But we ain't there. We're following, as the President General said, the mission that was put on our shoulders by Garvey and those that came before Garvey. So it is important for us to recognize that's what we want this convention to do. That's why we opening it up. That's why we're talking about Runoko and Garvey. Because mute yourself, Baba. Baba Mosi, mute yourself.
Well, you got it.
Baba Mosi, mute yourself. There you go. So it's kind of important for us to recognize that we're going to do the best we can to reach as many as we can, but we are tired of those brothers and sisters who have become what I call black Yurugus, meaning you have become your own worst enemy. Baba Akili know when I came into UNIA, the elders told me we are our own worst enemy. I was like, what the hell are they talking about? We own worst enemy. But I know now because we've come through lumps and bumps and seen some of our own, some that we recruited and brought in, fall off on the wayside and go in different directions, try to build this material thing and this thing, call themselves Garveyites. And like I said, there's no love lost, but you got to stay on track. You got to be a humble servant to the needs of the people. And right now, people are calling out for us in Africa, in the Caribbean, in North America, and everywhere. So what I would like to see us be able, like I said, to stream the public events so the world can get a taste of Garveyism in 2025 and understand that under the leadership of Akili Nkrumah, Dr. Chenzira, Mama Tendai, Mama Mary Bota, Sister Margot Dunn, Baba Zama Cook, Sister Ania Rogers, Baba Mosi, and Brother Jabari, and myself. All of us are doing our best to hold together check this out, the only vehicle that elected a president of all of Africa. See, Garvey wasn't only the first president general. He was elected the only president of Africa. And this was before the knuckleheads start going in all kinds of directions when they thought they got independence and they followed the borders of the Berlin Conference.
May I add to what you're saying?
Yes, PG, come on.
And then I know that there are other folks that have something to say, but I want you to realize the impact of what Senghor said that happened in 1920. Garvey was elected the provisional president of the continent of Africa. Just listen to that for a minute. It made every white nation in the freaking world scared that they had elected that black man as the provisional president of the continent of Africa. It wasn't other things he did. That's what poised the US, Britain, France, Belgium, Germany, and those other white nations to form the alliance to instruct and destroy that entity, because he was elected the provisional president for the continent of Africa. Those people didn't fathom having to deal with that black man dealing with the issues on the continent. They was raping the continent. So the rapists got scared that the person who would turn the raping around was looking them in the face. This was 1920.
Yes.
We now in 2025. They still fear him.
Yep.
Because he was the provisional president for the continent of Africa. We of RC2020 incorporate that activity and want to move the needle, which is why on the continent of Africa, we have a One Africa Commission under the leadership of the Third Assistant President General. We have international activity under the Second Assistant President General. We have international and national activity under the First Assistant President General. Let the world take reckoning. The UNIA-ACL
we also
under RC2020.
We also have our international organizer, Professor David Horn, and he leads the Marcus Garvey Honor Society. So one of the things that's so important for us to recognize, it's not about me, he or she, it's about we collectivity. And Baba Akili and I move like that, and the whole parent body moves like that. And we know that we have made mistakes and may make mistakes, but we also know that we can each one reach one and correct those mistakes, and to provide the best possible ways and means for those that come behind us to move forward in such a way where they don't make the same mistakes. This is a centennial year of two gigantic ancestors, or several, but two gigantic ones, and that is the Malcolm X, El Hajj Malik El Shabazz, and Patrice Lumumba. Just like the President General said, they were afraid of Garvey, they were afraid of Malcolm, they were afraid of Lumumba, they were afraid of Thomas Sankara, they were afraid of Nannie Helen Burroughs, they were afraid of Amy Jocks Garvey, they're afraid of any of our ancestors, Doc Ben, Doc Clark, Queen Mother Moore, Sister Estelle James, any of them that attempt to work collectively with the vision that Garvey, and the reason Garvey was elected as president of all of Africa. And I say all of Africa simply because Africans are all over the world, but Africa is the cradle of civilization. And he didn't just create an institution, the Black Star Line, to take people back to Africa. It was designed to help build commerce so we could trade amongst ourselves and create our own economic sustenance and ways and means. And then he also said, some of us ain't no good where we are, so why should we go back home to Africa? So I want to also stress, Baba Akili made it clear of Urugu. I want to also stress the communists. The communists were very envious and jealous of Garvey. The so-called integrationists, was so envious of Garvey. They end up conspiring along. Well, the communists might not have, but the integrationists conspired with the government and said Garvey must go. The communists were doing everything because they were also integrationists. They wanted us to be a working class globally, but Garvey understood clearly. He had traveled the world. He said, where is the black man and black woman's government? Where is the black women's men and women of big affairs? So he was absolutely clear that we had to be race first. He was absolutely clear that we had to practice practical Pan-Africanism. So I want to lay this down to those people that are listening, and then I'm going to stop. All these people talking this stuff about Garvey wasn't a Pan-Africanist, they don't even understand what Pan-Africanism means, obviously. Pan is simply what? Uniting together. Africans That's what it is. So Henry Sylvester Williams and Anna Julia Cooper and all of them who did that first thing, Pan-Africanism was being practiced way before the word came into existence. And look at Haiti and what Dessalines was doing. You know, they opened up the door for Africans to come there and live. So the bottom line is wherever Africans are, we have a right to our own humanity. We can't have no civil nothing until we got human rights. And I understand the fights are taking place. I understand that we still being abused and killed and locked up and all kinds of stuff going on. But the reality is we're still here. So no matter how much we've been licked, kicked, abused, drugged, murdered, killed, you know, kidnapped, whatever, because we was kidnapped. And this whole thing of North America, people get caught up in talking about we didn't come from Africa. Man, y'all need to do your science, man. Even the Urugu knows that every humanity was born on the continent of Africa. So all those people talking that talk just don't understand. They don't understand it's very, very important for us to recognize the cradle of civilization is Africa. So we all come from Africa, even though we didn't come through the transatlantic slave trade. Some of us traveled on our own boats and traveled the world, but we didn't go conquering other places. So I want to stress that to everybody because we're very clear. Our ancestors have done the work. We don't need to do the work they've done. We need to complete the work that they did, meaning we have to contribute something. So when we move on, because we spiritual beings having a physical experience, we want our young people to carry on. So I'll stop on that point. I know, y'all know Garveyites can be long-winded, but when the blacktricity start rolling, Baba Mosi, you know, you got to sometime put a check on us. Because with being a PG, you know, we could do this thing for hours and hours and hours because when Charles L. James and Thomas W. Harvey ingrained that spirit in us, we ain't just talking for Senghor and Akili, we talking for our ancestors. And they are angry. Our ancestors got to be angry at what's going on right now when children are crying and dying and we have not still taken Africa. And yeah, the Sahel states is taking place with co-federation, but we got to get to what Sheikh Anta Diop said and federate the whole African world, starting with the continent. I'll stop right there.
Thank you, sir. Now, in that sense, we have been doing something to integrate, in a sense, with other with some by using the what is it called, the math, help me out,
The
MOU?
Mahat agreement. The Mahat agreement.
Yes,
The Mahat agreement.
yeah,
Intrograte, not integrate, intrograte.
integrate.
Yeah, because that's our own brothers and sisters we hooking up
Yeah.
with. So we don't need to enter, we got to intrograte. But anyway, it's just a matter of using, Baba Moses, we using, as the so-called indigenous people of the continent here used to say, we speaking in folk tongue. So sometimes those words, but anyway, go ahead, Baba Moses.
Well, I would like maybe an explanation so that some people who may not fully understand or know at all about what we're doing, where that is concerned. What we're using that for.
Real quickly, that's why race first is so important, because regardless whether you're born in Jamaica, whether you're born in Nigeria, whether you're born in DC, whether you're born in Philadelphia, you're an African. You're an African. So you're African born in Philly, you're African born in DC, you're African born in Jamaica. And then no matter what tribe or no matter what religious persuasion you may have, as I said, let no political scruples divide us. If you're a Muslim, we love you. If you're a Christian, we love you. If you're Igbo, we love you. If you're Kemetician, we love you. But come to the table as an African Igbo or as African Kemetician or African Christian or African Muslim. That is the important unifying factor. So I want to stress when we say integrate, we're talking about integrating with our brothers and sisters who may speak Francophone, speak French, speak Portuguese, who may be have a different religious persuasion. Garvey said clearly, let all of us come together and build a nation on the continent that will support Africans all around the world. So we don't say integrate. When we say integrate, we didn't understand, and Baba Akili, I know you're going to love this one because we didn't create the terms Mongoloid, Caucasoid, and Negroid. We didn't do that. So we understand one human race, but all come from us. But the reality is all of us ain't righteous. And then some people got caught in the Caucasoid Mountains and lost their melanin and turned around and become the worst Urugu in the world that wants to take control and oppress everybody, even his own kind or even his own so-called race. So I want to stress that to everybody. When we say race first, we're not talking about anti anybody. We're talking about pro us, and we're talking about getting our thing together. And the bottom line is science par excellence for us, because they said Negroid, Caucasoid, and Mongoloid. But if you do the history and you go to where the Mongoloids and where the Caucasoids were at, Africans were there before they were. That's a historical geographical fact. So no matter where you come from, as Peter Tosh says, no matter where you come from, if you a black man and woman, you're an African. Now everybody don't get that. Of course, we know some of our own folk that ain't, they might be skin folk, but they ain't kin folk, meaning they ain't working for the interests of all of us and they're working against us. We ain't talking about them. We're talking about all of us, all of those who want to move toward the righteous and to straighten this planet out. And we also love the planet Earth. And right now, the Earth is being killed just like humanity is being killed because the wrong people are in control. And that's what Garvey knew. Garvey warned us, and he said, count on him. Count on him to be the real Marcus Garvey if there is power in death. And we as Africans know there's a lot of power in death because really, the PG will tell you, it's life to life. It's life to life. You finish. Go ahead, PG.
What I was going to say is before I add to your comments, I didn't, because we kind of are dominating the program. I didn't know if anyone else, Baba Mosi, wants to make a comment.
I just want to say to you, PG, it is the night of the parent body.
I know.
We're supposed to dominate. I know Baba Mosi wanted that badly.
No, I truly, I understood that. But the reason I raised that because as we do this through the evening, we are going to continuously make the points that you've raised, and others may need to contribute so that as we make these points, folks understand it's not in a happenstance like we the only ones got a position. Others have positions. And even if you don't agree with us, we understand that in our consciousness and in our world, we can have disagreement, just not be disagreeable.
Yeah, by the way, you mentioned that Reverend Julie got her hand up.
Rev Julie.
Hello, family. Good evening.
Hotep family.
So happy to be on tonight with everybody. I want to introduce my husband, Dr. Alfred Clean-Scales. Say hi, please.
Tell the doctor to come into the view so we can see him.
Wait a minute, hold up. The way I have my camera set up, it's only showing my face for some reason. But he's here, healthy, strong, and we are Pan-Africanists to the nth degree. And we've been spending a lot of time watching news coverage and videos of what is happening in the Sahel states and the recent deals being signed between the Russians and members of the Sahel states, primarily deals to invest in Burkina Faso in exchange for infrastructure development, industry development. And one of the things that came out in one of the videos is that the electric grid, and I experienced this in Benin also, the electric grid is so insufficient that there are rolling outages and people don't have lights in their homes at night. And, in Benin, for instance, we went for miles and miles with no street lights. The roads need to be taken care of, and our people have tremendous intellectual capacity. But if the schools cannot perform at the highest level, then we fall behind. If we don't have sufficient food or agriculture, then we're left hungry. So I'm excited about the prospect of those countries expanding their influence to build one Africa. And I guess my question is, and Baba Senghor, I just want to thank you because I've been screaming for quite a few years about the fact that human life started in Olduvai Gorge in Tanzania and spread out from there with people migrating all across the planet. And those recessive genes that occurred from being in the northern hemisphere have caused a kind of behavior pattern that is parasitic in nature. So we have people who don't mind destroying everyone around them and taking what they own for themselves. And that's a behavior pattern that must be broken. So as we begin to cultivate curricula into schools in the diaspora, they have to teach that history so that our babies understand that we are the first people. There are people in Japan who have locks and locks of flowing coiled hair who migrated from Africa.
Yes.
You have ethnic groups in China. You have ethnic groups in the Northern Hemisphere, in the Arctic Circle, who are Black. And so I'm getting a little animated because I see the back and forth with African descended people in the United States who excuse me, try to distance themselves spiritually and intellectually from their African heritage. But at a certain point, the science will always prevail. And so our culture must follow the science. And then our spirituality is the foundation of everything. And it all started. Dr. John Henry Clark, we were watching yesterday where he talked about the fact, not the supposition, not the theory, but the fact that Christianity started in Africa thousands of years before it was taken up and redefined by the Roman Empire. So I'm saying, and now I'm dominating the conversation. I'm sorry.
No, you're not. No, you're not dominating the conversation. And Baba Mosi, I apologize. My sister Queen, I want you to finish your thought because there is an additional piece that should go with that. Please finish your thought.
So, we have Chikanta Diop, and we have John Henry Clark, and we have dozens of other scholars who spent their whole life proving what we know in our hearts, which is that it all started with us. And one of the things that I did for a while was to create a circle of people who came in to meditate and pray into the truth that the past, present, and future are really one thing. And so when we take our consciousness back to the beginning of life and we tap into the consciousness of that first Homo sapien and become sentient with her, then we are there at the beginning of human time. And we have the power to redirect our conscious awareness into what we will create in the future, which is proper schools, abundant clean water, proper housing, universities that produce textiles and literature and theories that will carry humanity into a place of wholeness, not warfare, not division, not competition, but absolute unconditional love, starting with our love for our Blackness. I'm going to leave it right there. Thank you.
No. Thank you. Asante Sana to you. Baba Mosi, may I speak?
Yes, sir.
I want to take a point from our sister Queen that spoke about the relevance of the beginning. The beginning was with Ma'at, was with the female energy and her bringing about the resilience of a nation, because our existence is still connected to the resilience of the nation. One of the doctor's points, the Reverend Doctor's point, and it was kind of like said, like everybody picked it up, was relate to her, not her person, but to that female energy. That be in the beginning. We spoke, and Senghor spoke about addressing religion, and that it does not, should not separate us. It does not and should not separate us, nor should be our geographical locations be a separation. But because we have gotten so caught up in a European dichotomy of how the world is seen, we continue to perpetuate the misunderstandings and the misgivings in the universe. It is time for men and women of African descent to stand with and understand the teachings of the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey and those men and women who stood with him. What they gave us was the foundation for racial development and for racial unity and for the ability to move forward in such a way that the world will follow us. However, we have to also understand that the enemy that we face, who is also human, who also stems from our very genes, is self-centered, uneducated, unconnected to the realities of the world. It isn't about hating anybody. It's about making sure we love who we are first, build a nation of African people first, build the government for African people first, and then speak to the world in such a way that we say, enough. We will chart our course. You have the opportunity to either follow or be left behind. But Africa, the center of the universe, and the African woman, the foundation of the universe, shall be secured.
Yep.
That is the mission of the Universal Negro Improvement Association African Communities League Rehabilitating Committee 2020, to secure the race. You secure the race by securing the queens.
Exactly.
Queens
So,
are the basis for kingdom.
yep. Congo, can you mute yourself, please? Congo, we're getting a lot of feedback from your system, and it's kind of overlapping the voice. Unless you speak in Congo, can you mute? So yeah, I want to thank you too, Reverend Julian, because Baba Akili touched on it. It's so important for us to recognize where we come from, what our original source is. And you talked about the problems. And I want to stress that the Most High that created us, the greatest creation, humanity, didn't make any mistakes. We made them all. And it's our job to find the solutions to them. And if we could create the mistakes, we can find the solutions. And so you're right, my sister. At home, on the continent, there are issues of concern. Miseducation even takes place here in North America, where we got lights and we got books, but we got miseducation here. And so it's our job, those of us who have wiggled through the miseducating process, to begin to create ways and means to educate. And it does start where the majority of youth are, which is on the motherland continent. And so we're working on that. We're working on ways and means of how we can reach that, not just through our divisions, but how we can reach out to young brothers and sisters who are eager to see the change. And it takes work. But see, that's why we don't got time fighting one another. We don't got time to be playing around with a lot of material foolishness. We need to be spiritual. Right now, we're in a period called Lionsgate that ran into Mercury in retrograde. And for those who might not understand what I'm talking about, let me break it down. The universe is a part of us. When we say we're universal, we're one with spirit, we're one with the universe, and our creator created all living things that exist. We need to be going internally and raising our consciousness to come up, like Marcus Garvey said, man and woman can create whatever we need to solve the problems. Baba Akili broke it down in great terms. The source. The source is the womb man, the woman, which we come through. We need to be spiritual. We need to stop all the religious scrupule foolishness, get to the source, because it's the meek who will inherit the earth. Not the Muslim, not the Christian, the meek, which could be Christian, Muslims, and everybody. And if we go back to the African origin and we find out what the likes of people like Tony Browder are doing, and by the way, Anthony Tony Browder will be with us, not only honoring Renoko, quite a few people will be coming to the convention that are very, very, very clear on solving their own problems. I met with Tony the other day. He just came back from Paris, meeting with, well, he did a big meeting there, was sold out with African people. And he said 70% of the Africans that came to that meeting had not heard a lot of what he was sharing. That means we have people that are hungry for some of the things that some of us have been blessed to get from Dr. Clark, Dr. Ben, Ivan Van Sertima, you know, and let's don't leave out Charles L. James, Thomas Sankara, Patrice Lumumba, because we have our political, our spiritual, our giants, historians. And so, yes, my sister, we have a lot of work to do, but I am clear that we are on track and it's our job to reach as many youth. That's why at our convention, we have also connected with some other young people like Brother Sam P.K. Collins, who said he was going to try to join us, but I know exactly what they're going to be doing at this program. During our 67th International Convention, we are building a new generation of African liberators. And we're starting with young people at this time. We need to start from infancy, no question about it, as my brother Professor Coco always teaches us. But we're working with youth between the ages of 12 and 18. And on Thursday, August the 14th, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., we will have workshops dealing with music, which is very important. Culture is tied to what we're talking about. Music is part of our culture. Message music. I ain't talking about slop hop stuff, or I ain't talking about that kind of stuff that's counterproductive to our spirit. I'm talking about stuff that raises our spirit, that healing. 12 years old to 18 years old, there'll be workshops on music, financial literacy, and political organizing, because we need to start with our youth. And it's important that our youth on the continent, through our One Africa Commission, learn how to grow food, learn how to create their own jobs, learn how to be clean. We have what programs like Be Clean campaign. So we have to continue to do that. We also have to do everything we can to raise up the young people to understand that they need to know Renoko Rashidi. They need to know John Henry Clark. And that's our responsibility, because they're not here physically now. So it's our job physically to make sure young people get to taste that information. If they can't read about it, we got to tell them about it. We got to put it in song. So anyway, I just wanted to add on, Dr. Julie, you was right on point, and PG is right. Everybody got something to add. So I want to turn it back over to Baba Mosi now that Brother Congo is here, and we can delve into some of the things that people can expect at the convention. But we appreciate you, Queen Mother, and your husband. We appreciate everybody that's building the family, because if you don't build your family, you're not going to have a community. You're not going to have a community. You don't build your community, you're not going to have a nation. And we're too far away from that. We are falling into a microwave food thing and get information through the internet. And unfortunately, too many of our children are being raised by cell phones. You should be using that cell phone to get positive information and not just caught up in games and folly and negative stuff. So that's another thing that we need to check. It ain't televised. As my good brother Gil Scott said, the revolution won't be televised. Stay off of television sometimes. Because if you can't break it down, it will break you down. It will have you running around thinking that you're the godfather. Y'all hear what I'm saying? Thinking that you are this or that. Because it's fictional. We need nonfiction. Anyway, I'll stop there. Baba Mosi and Congo. Welcome, Brother Congo.
Yeah, yeah, Brother Congo, the Vice President of Division 330, UNIA-ACL RC 2020. He's also co-hosting, if we can get him up and straighten out his camera. Yeah, okay. Now, you know, it's important for us, I think, to deal with the convention because it's coming up next week, and of course, this is the time when we have an opportunity to let folks outside of the UNIA as well as inside the UNIA understand the seriousness of us coming together so that we can focus on our development as a people. And we have, as you said, the youth program that's coming on there. And the other thing is how we plan to develop what's our course in development. And we have some I guess we sort of math agreement, but we didn't elaborate on that.
Well,
This
Baba,
is to bring the people together so as to connect with others so that
right,
we can do things economically, socially as well.
as well as culturally, Baba Mosi, and I'm not going to be long.
Culturally,
I just want
okay.
to say that because you're right on point. We got an international drumathon that's very important. That takes place on the 17th, as we did last year and the year before. We're calling on everybody everywhere at noon Eastern Standard Time, regardless of what that time is. If it's 5 o'clock for you, wherever you are, whatever time is enjoying it, to pick up a drum and drum. That unification is powerful. We know that during the transatlantic slave trade, that's one of the things they did was try to take away our drums. So whether or not it's a steel drum in Trinidad, whether or not it's in Africa, whether or not it's in the UK, whether I heard that we're going to have some people in Antigua because one of our ambassadors will be in Antigua coming on this year and getting the drummers there. So wherever we at, drumming is important. Synchronicity. I like to call it blacktricity. So that's important. And then Baba Mosi also talked about the Mahat Agreement. We will have other people. We're working with the Renoko Rashidi Institute that is designed, and they're based on California, but they're all around the world because people are tied into their group. They will be with us virtually, but the bottom line is we're working with them. We'll have Black Seeds there. We're working with Adasi. We're working with other groups, as Baba Mosi said, that we have Mahat agreements with. And we want all of the people that are out there that want to be in tune with this to understand that they can tap in and they will be able to pick up on the vibes and learn. And then we will do what we can at the work table, coming out of the work table to pass on work, not only in Africa, but here, because we got work to do everywhere. You know, the chump is even talking about bringing in the Fed police into the DC area. But I want to let everybody know that ain't nothing new. We got 12 or 13 police forces in the DC nation's capital already. So I just want to stress that to everybody that, you know, because people are getting shook up about that. And I want to stress that. But we will have Tyrone Parker with us. We will have people that are talking about how they're reaching young people in the street and turning them around, those people coming back out of prison. So it's a lot that's going to be going on. But we can't get into the business of the table because the bottom line is, you know, we're going to be doing that at the table with our other members online. But the public aspects are what we are striving to rope people in. Membership. We need people joining the UNIA, not just talking Garvey. You need to get involved, pay your dues, and help upkeep the government. And I want to stress that because sometimes we're so nice. We want to talk to you and help you, but you need to help yourself too. How can you help yourself? Join Division 330. Join the division in Congo, in the Ghana, in Sierra Leone, in San Diego, in Oakland, in LA, in Philadelphia. We got places where people are looking for brothers and sisters that want to be of like minds. Let's come together, family.
Baba Moses,
Okay. Yes, sir.
are you moving forward? Because I will hold comment until then.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Well, I would like us maybe to elaborate a little bit more on our Sunday program at the convention. If we have some people there who folks may be happy to hear about you know, maybe your names. We mentioned some of their names before.
Well, we can mention all of them. Evergreen Productions is going to be with us. If y'all ain't heard of Evergreen Productions, they are griots from all around the Caribbean and all around the world, actually. And they do positive messages through spoken word. We're gonna also have Brother Bomani Arma, who is a master teacher of young people through hip hop culture. We will also have Jabari Exum, and we will also have Tyrone Parker. I mentioned him. We will have Mufundi Koko Resan, who is no stranger to the Freedom Fridays, who's been teaching. He's a giant amongst us, carrying on the traditions of Francis Cress Welsing, Marimba Ani, and so many others. But he's right here with us, and you can get to see him live other than online. He'll be with us. And then we also have the drumming, and then we also have vendors, Imhotep Fati of the PLM, the Pan-African Liberation Movement, that have a Race First convention coming up in BMO that me and the PG will be with, Marimba Ani and others, but he will be with us on the 17th. So there's a lot more that I could share, but I don't want to be the one doing it. Oh, Kenny Carroll, we're going to have some of the baddest poets around come share poetry. So it's all about upliftment culture. So, that's basically how we're going to tribute Garvey. We got Julius Garvey, who's going to be coming in line. And so it's just a lot of other good vibes that are going to be there. Drummers, though. We got master drummers coming this year. Last year, Baba Mosi, me and Akili were in Chicago at convention. And we had the storm. Garvey came in the whirlwind with tremendous rain, but we still held our drum circle and libations. So I'm just saying, Mama Tendai, Sister Dr. Chinzara, Baba Mosi, Baba Akili, myself, and many, many others, Mama Mary, we hung in there after the rain stopped pouring down. We got back to the drums with master drummer Baba Tahimba. This year, we got Brother Joseph Ingwa coming. We got Brother Bill coming, Brother Siddiqui, and I saw Brother Bear. I was with Baba Eric last night. We got some master drummers coming. And so we're inviting other drummers to come out to Everlasting Life. I didn't get an address. That's 9033 Central Avenue. Come drum with us for at least 45 minutes in a drum circle from 11:30 to about 1, about an hour and a half or so, 45 minutes to an hour, maybe a little longer. Come do that with us. It's going to be videotaped. It's going to be streamed. And other people are doing drum circles other places. So I'm going to stop right there, Baba Mosi.
No. I mean, that's Garvey's birthday we are also celebrating. That's 17th.
Yes.
So that's Garvey Day.
Yes.
And so, having other drummers come out, that's an open invitation to these drummers.
Yeah, we want other
right
drummers
there in
to
Washington, D.C. area. And even if you're outside of Washington, D.C., and you want to come in for those programs we have on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, come out with your drums for Sunday so we can have that drumathon. And we can have this heartbeat of the African people reverberating in the DMV. So yes, please do that. Please come out with your drums. It's an open invitation for that drumathon. Okay. Now, the Saturday program.
Well, we're going to have Brother Tony Browder is going to be the keynote speaker, and he did so much work with Renoko. Him and Atlantis just got back from Paris, and they were actually with Atlantis. Atlantis and Tony were with Asata Garvey, Renoko's daughter, and mother of her mother, and they were actually at a big program there. They're going to be there. Paul Coates of Black Classic Press, who did a lot to support Renoko and support the family. And we're gonna have this brother named Akili Malik Nkrumah. He's gonna be speaking too, the PG. And then we're gonna have attorney Kichi Taifa. We're gonna have Mama Tendai Paula of not only the UNIA Education Committee, but the sister with Ndasi. Yeah. And then we also got Kathy English Holt, who's going to be bringing an ancestor into life, Nanny Helen Burroughs, a race first woman who worked with girls. She's going to be there. And then we got Sister Ismira, who I just spoke to today. And even though she might not be with us now physically because she's got to go to St. Louis for a funeral, and unless she drives from there to here, she's going to send us a video. So we're going to have some people coming in virtual. So But that's going to be a day tributed to Renoko. But it's important for us not to forget Friday. Y'all come on out Friday and listen to Proverbs Reggae Band. So we got a couple of things happening. And all of those are going to be streamed, by the way. So for those that are listening that can't get into the DMV, stay in tune with us. Go to our website, www.UNIA-ACL RC2020.com, or call us up. Baba Mosi will give his number. I'll give you mine, 202-256-2518. We're going to need your emails. We're going to tell you how you can pay to be a part of it. Y'all that are listening out there on Facebook and YouTube, you can be a part of this. I just did a show last night, by the way, Baba Mosi, in Jamaica. I mean, with some brothers and sisters in Jamaica. And so anyway, it's going to be great.
Independence show? Huh?
Huh?
An independence show?
A radio show, yeah, in Jamaica, but I was on Zoom, but I was recorded the night before because I went to Salim Hilton's 80th birthday last night.
Okay.
And I came out and came on live, but they also recorded an hour or so of us talking about Black August. And I also want to stress that this is Black August and Mosiah Month. So everybody should be doing something. Even if you can't come out with us, you should be doing something positive. If you're not meditating, studying about Black people, doing something to help somebody, bring some youth out to the conference. In fact, we got a couple of slots where y'all that are already paid for. So we need young people, that people are listening to this, that got access to young people that want to bring them out. So brother Sam P.K. Collins, Atlantis Browder, Sister Atia, brother Chef, they're going to be doing workshops. It's going to be powerful. So get involved.
If I may,
Yes, sir.
as we discuss young people and discuss the activities that are going to take place, which is going to be geared toward moving the needle, if I may use that terminology. You see, people of African descent has been, as Singo likes to say, if you don't mind me using your terminology, been hoodwinked in believing that it's okay here. Well, it's not okay. Let me take that a step further. People of African descent need to understand their identity and who they are. You need to understand the value that you are to the world and why the world will focus on you and trying to take away from you your belief in your own value. They want to take away from you your value so that you don't value the land upon which we were born and which the world developed from. African continent is the richest continent in the world. Every European nation is trying to control a particular part of Africa. In 1865, when they sat down at the Berlin Conference, they divided up Africa so the white people could control it and try to take it away from people of African descent. They convinced us that we needed to support their methodology and support their movement. It has taken us from then till now to realize that was bullshit. And I apologize for my language. That was hogwash. That was subjugation. And then they taught you that. The Polish king told his Catholic clergy, teach them to believe in your God. And let your God being white teach them that they aren't white, so they have to be submissive to that God, which meant they wanted to take away from us our cultural values, our cultural beliefs, and who we were, which is what strengthened us to create the knowledge of the first 7,000 years of man's history. And man and woman are the same, but that's a history that we don't seem to talk about. So I wanted to bring that up for a reason, because as we embrace womanhood, as we embrace manhood, as we embrace nationhood, let us embrace the history that brought us to this point. At the convention, when you talk to young people, I'm at a meeting with young people just the other day. They don't know our history. They don't know what started this. They know the here and now. We have to teach them not the here and now, but how here and now came to be. Again, I'm going to point out the reason Marcus Garvey became the target that he did was because he was elected to provisional president of the continent of Africa. He was not elected to provisional president of the UNIA-ACL. He was elected to provisional president of the continent of Africa, which meant Africa should unite. His plan was to unite Africa, to strip away the language barriers, the cultural barriers, embrace all of the cultural aspects of people of African descent, embrace who you are, and then share who you are, because the rhythms aren't that different. The dance isn't that different. The point of origin is controlling our own future. And today's world, it means controlling the economic, political situations that we find ourselves in. It means controlling the science that speaks to us and helps us either grow and develop or continue to die. We have to be in control of our own destiny. Everything you've heard from Brother Baba Senghor, my brother Baba Mosi, my brother, and the sisters that will speak it now and in the future is going to be telling you that you have to connect to who you are in order to control where we go. Europeans came from us. They're your cousins. You might not like that. Their melanin failed them. We sent them to the Caucasoid Mountains, and they've been mad ever since. But what we want to do with that anger is show them that that which is real will supersede that which is fake. We are real. Our transition is real. Our motivation is real. We salute the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey because he embraced the truth. Garvey said, if in death there is power, I will be the real Marcus Garvey with tens of thousands of souls to move us forward. We know that death isn't death. Death is only the elimination of life in this realm. It's not death, because if in death it all ended, then you would have no God to pray to. I don't care what your religion is. You would have no God. If there was death, there is life, and to life to life. Africa for the Africans, those at home and those abroad. Let us not be confused by that European energy, because that European energy only wants to confuse you because they mad that they ain't like you. They melanin not strong as you. They hips not like you. They mind not like you. Their hair not like yours. They keep trying to redefine beauty because they want to make sure you don't understand that you are true beauty. They want to redefine masculinity so that you don't understand that you are masculinity. They want to redefine femininity so that you don't understand that you are the feminine and that the feminine energy is the power of the universe. The Ankh speaks to it. People of African descent that hear this message understand. UNIA-ACL RC 2020 is about moving us forward as a race, not individuals. We're not trying to make money. We're trying to be free. Asante Baba Mosi.
Asante Baba. And is that, will we close? Is that your closing? We can close there. Or this is, I mean, yes, I think that's appropriate for what, you know, because we're considering bringing our people together. What those words that you just said, it's appropriate as a closing statement. And I think we can do that. Unless, Baba Kongo, do you have a comment to make us? No, I can't say you co-host and all that, and you don't even say good evening. So, yeah.
Greetings, everybody. Sorry for the technical problems I had to get on, but anyway, I missed a lot of it, so I don't want to be redundant. But I hope that we have a very good and successful convention, and that we, we clear our minds, because we're at war and we have to win this revolution, and we have to become, fantastic people that we are, and that what we were made to be. We have to rise to the top, and that's where we belong.
Well, I can assure
yeah.
you, my brother, this convention is being hosted by the Woodson Banneker Jacson-Bey Division, UNIA-ACL Rehabilitating Committee 2020 here in Washington, D.C. And I think there's never been a time when the Woodson Banneker Jacson-Bey Division, UNIA-ACL RC 2020, has never failed to put on an event in which it has not been powerful, it has not been motivating, and it has not given the people resolve to fight in the struggle to bring, African people out of the malaise in which we're in at this moment. Not by our own fault, but by the fact that so many that those who control the world, those who control the economies of the world, those who control the factor that if you don't have their money, you're unable to make purchases. And if you don't have their electronic money, you're unable to make purchases. They control the world worse than when it was just a matter of shipping dollars around. They can just cut you off by a switch, an electronic switch. So we're in a situation now where we have to watch what we do and how we relate to some of our people. The brother just earlier said all kin folks, all skin folks and kin folks, and we have to be very careful with some. But even with that, I think we can move on. We can be powerful. And I think with here in Washington, D.C., this August, this Black August, we can make it happen. We can make it happen that when people leave our convention, they're motivated to get back out there and do their best to increase, not only to increase our membership, to increase the dynamics of economics.
Baba Mosi, my closing remarks would be just to let people know how they can get in contact with us and to mention a couple of people that I did not mention. Sister Marsha Adebayo will be with us, and she will definitely be with us on Marcus Garvey's birthday, and she'll be explaining some of the work that's going on with the BACC coalition. I think she might be doing a PowerPoint. And then also Sister Free Benjamin will be with us on the 16th. She's a great songbird. And then also, if people want to contact us to get tickets, you can call 202-256-2518, or you can call 301-802-4022. You can also visit our website at UNIA-ACL RC2020.com. I want to thank Everlasting Life Complex at 9033 Central Avenue. All the events will be there. That's very important because that's a Black-owned vegan restaurant owned by Brother Baruch. And he's been so gracious to provide the complex for us to do all of these events there this year. And I also want to say, if you want to get tickets and can't get to us and you're in the DC area, you can go to Blue Nile Trading Company. They have sets of all tickets. And for those people who see the flyer, I want to make some corrections. Every event is $15. Every event. One of the things we put on the flyer is $20 for I think Saturday. It's only $15. All the tickets are $15. That ticket says 20, but it's 15 because we advertised it that way originally. So they all are 15. And I want to make sure that people are clear. If you come to the door, it might be a little more, but you can get your tickets from us. We want to pray for all the delegates coming in from out of town, because there are people coming in, will be coming in. That's why a lot of the parent body people probably not on now, because they're doing a lot of things. Because like Baba Mosi say, we're about 36 hours away from kickoff time when people are going to be getting on those flights. So we want to hold everybody in the light that's coming in town, and we're going to have a great time. But please know that it's not going to be all rigid. It's going to be fun, culture, spirituality, and upliftment. I want y'all to understand that, like Baba Mosi say, we want you to come be uplifted, to go out and do some work. Uplifted, but it's going to be nourishing. It's going to be fruitful with entertainment. But more importantly, everybody will be able to love one another up. We got a marketplace that's going to be there with tremendous products, good health and wellness products, clothes, jewelry, books. Danny Queen will be with us too. I failed to mention him. He's a poet that's always there at eLife. So we're going to have a great time. So anyway, I wanted to close on that point though, Bob, because I want to encourage y'all to hear this that might not hear it now, because it's going to be kicking out there on YouTube, to know that it's not too late for you to call one of those numbers. And also call us so we can let you know and get your email, and we'll let you know how you can pay for the stream so that no matter where you are, you can get this. Don't wait for the video. Get it live when it's happening.
All right. Thank you
And
very
Baba
much.
Mosi, was my closing remarks, or do I get a chance?
Well, my brother, can I tell the PG not to get another chance if he
Well,
wants to?
You can, man. It's Freedom Friday. I'm just teasing.
well, I be respectful. I want to reiterate and ask you all to hear the voice of the First Assistant President General, support the activity. Our convention is about truth, so Brother Shango, I hope to see you there as well. And for those of you who are part of this conversation, whether you have voiced an opinion or not, I hope that you support this initiative. The object is for us to move the needle forward. And everything that we are attempting to do will be accomplished because we are committed to raising the banner of the red, the black, and the green, trimmed in gold, as the national flag of the continent of Africa, to remove the barriers on the continent of Africa of language, which appears to be cultural differences, which is really not, but to remove those barriers that have been instilled by the Europeans who incarcerated and enslaved and carved up Africa with false boundaries, cut villages in half with a boundary line, and then forced a decentralization and a unculturalization and trying to make us what they wanted us to be. We are the beginning of the universe. We are the future of the universe, and we are the people of the universe, and we control our own destiny. One God, one aim, one destiny, one Africa.
One Africa. Power to the people. I thank you. I thank you all for being with us here this evening. I thank you, PG, for the kind words that you've said. And I thank you, brother Baba Senghor, for all the words that you've said that encourages and the historical background. Well, I mean, you were right. You know, when you and the PG get together, I don't need to say anything. I mean, that's it. I mean, that only take up a lot more time than necessary. And who needs redundancy anyway? So here we go.
Yeah, but Baba Mosi, I'm sorry. Baba Mosi, we love you. If it were not for you in Congo and Division 330, we wouldn't be having these Freedom Fridays. And I want to remind people they can go to the New Black Learning channel on YouTube and see tons of Freedom Fridays. So this is just one out of many, many years of Freedom Fridays. And before we were online, you did Freedom Fridays at a Moja House. So I want to commend you and y'all for y'all local leadership. And I know the PG probably says the same thing. So Baba Mosi, we are our brother and sister's keeper. So for us to speak, it's because of you. It's because of us together. It ain't about me, he or she. PG would probably speak for himself. It's about collectivity. And we as a team move forward.
I am because you are. And because you are, therefore I am. And each of us, an African mind, will be the basis of anything African. Nothing African can be created without an African mind that is creative. One
You-
God, one aim,
Yeah.
one
One
destiny,
destiny,
one
one
Africa.
Africa. I
Uh,
thank you.
I have a request. I have all these male men talking. I mean, maybe I came in late and other
You came in
ladies
late,
are.
my brother.
But the thing that I like to hear something from Dr.
You came in
Julian
late.
Robertson.
Oh,
You missed
unless
it. You missed it, man.
Wait a minute, let me just give you a little taste, just a little taste, because there is one last thing. So our people in the United States moved so far, so fast because of the creativity and our collective responsibility to one another. And so in order to dismantle that, when Reagan engineered the Iran-Contra crisis, what he was really doing was implementing a system of privatized prisons, mandatory minimum sentences for even the smallest infractions. He indicted 15 Black caucus members. Financial sector redlining in the Black community was at an all-time high. And then dismantling public schools and freezing university enrollments. Those things together was a perfect storm, a holocaust against our community. And in order to reverse those measures, we have and stay in a stable forward movement because our people are challenged right now. Find ways to develop the churches into economic engines where we are able to teach, market, and perform other activities through spiritual organizations. And it doesn't have to be all Christian churchy. I'm going to leave it right there, but that was the gist of what I wanted to add to the conversation, and to develop a foreign policy that really takes us into the diaspora in an active and functional way. Love y'all. Thank you so much
love
for
you too, my
letting
sister.
me talk. Thank
Yes,
you.
indeed. You know, my sister, you are absolutely right. There is a need for the restructuring of our consciousness. There's so many of us who, we leave just words. People are just saying words, and we just take those words for granted and run along with it. Words and a pat on the back. Well, after this convention, we hope that a lot of people will be leaving or will know that this is a time when the whirlwind is about to start. So, one God, one aim,
One aim,
one destiny.
destiny.
One destiny,
Until next time,
one Africa.
one Africa. Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Until next time.
Brother Heru, thank you for being with us.